Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today is the tech tip of the week, and of course this time it's going to be about the Land Rover again. This time it is going to be another kind of tech tip that most guys that's been having a Land Rover, or if they do have an LR3 or Discovery 3 at some point, might experience. And I was out for a little bit of a fun kind of ride yesterday, which means that when I came out doing my normal errands and so forth, and suddenly the parking brake gets stuck. So now I got a problem with the modules and all the other stuff. It's just we got two brakes in the back and the rear, and apparently it's been stuck. It's probably because I've been doing too much off-roading here over the last month or so. So now I gotta go ahead and take the whole thing apart. However, once you get out in town somewhere and doing your errands, and this happens, you're kind of stuck out there because you cannot release the parking brake. So this is how you do that to start with. Once you see it and you get all the alarms off, you will actually go inside the cabin, and that's where you'll find your emergency release. I'll show you in a second. Well, inside the car, where you can find that emergency release is actually here in your mid console and the pedestal. On this one, I'm a lift control car, and that means my parking brake is actually over on this side. I'm not touching it now because it's actually disconnected at the moment, but you'll have to go ahead and release this part, bring it up and pull it forward nice and easy. Then you'll see it will go ahead and let go. And then on your right side, there is a slight little wire right here. You can probably see it. I'm touching it right now. That needs to be pulled. And you'll pull up to the detent about here, and then it needs an additional pull, more or less, before you release the parking brake. And then you can drive to your service center and get it all fixed. However, putting your finger through here is almost impossible. And if you take your pinky to try it with, you're not going to be able to have enough force to bring it up. So going back in your car in the truck in the back, picking up the winch, or actually that small jack that you go ahead and jack it off for changing your wheels, there's a hook like that in there that fits straight in that part, and you can actually pull it straight up and it can actually release the parking brake. So that's how you emergency release the parking brake. And of course, when that's done, you need to recalibrate it once you're done with this and get it back into certification standards and so forth. And it's going to take a little bit of a special kind of way of doing that as well, and I'll show that later on in the video as well. So far it's just been emergency disconnected. I'll go out and I'll take the wheels off, and then we're going to have a look at the brake or drum discs in there and all the other stuff that actually is with it, and see if we can find the failure. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks. So now we're out of the wheels and just about getting ready to get it off. However, make sure you get chocks around your wheels as well, so you do not let the car run anywhere, because you do not have the parking brake on there at the moment. So I have an automatic, so that means it's in park at the moment. But anyway, make sure it doesn't roll anywhere where you're at, because that's really kind of imperative. Anyway, I'll take the wheels off now, so I'll take the lock nuts off all the way around, and then we'll have a look at how it looks like in a second. Now I've been cheating a little bit and just lifted the car up on its maximum pneumatic suspension. And then once you get up there, you can actually, if you're smart, just go ahead and take out the circuit breaker for that part, and that way it will stay and remain up there. So right now I just have some space within the fenders and everything else, so I can actually more or less work freely on my problem. So just a little bit of tech tip. As usual, when you get the wheel off and all that stuff, make sure to push it in underneath the car as a safety precaution. In case something goes wrong, it won't fall any lower than that, and at least you'll be able to get out, so there's no problems. Just put that in there so you know that it's going to take the pressure from the car in case you actually drop it. So in order, we're on the back side here, that's the caliper, and this is the wheel basically, and we got the brakes on the outside here. But you need to remove the caliper as well, and you'll need, to this part up here, the two knots, it says right there, the bolts, you'll need a 15 mil to take that off. So that's what we're going to do next. It's now ready to take off, and after removing this little torque screw that's sitting here, that's it. You should be able to nice and easy take the disc off and see how it looks like on the inside. And this thing definitely needs a little bit of a cleaning. Could be the reason as well, but we'll take it apart, clean it up, see how it actually goes, and then we'll put it all together again. So basically the worst part is now over, and from here on it's just to go ahead and clean the whole brake system there. But you see the brake shoes are sitting here, got a little bit of dirt in there as well, and I have done a lot of off-road, I have to say, so I am not surprised that it looks like it does. It probably will be dirty to start with as well, but yeah, I was running with water above the wheels, so this is what you can expect afterwards. Anyway, once it's clean, I'm sure it's gonna work absolutely nice afterwards. So I'll use the compressed air actually to clean the worst part off, and it does work, and you can see as it is right now, it actually is getting a lot better than it was before. I still got plenty of brake pads on. You need to have at least 2 millimeters on here before you change them, and then you have to change them whenever that's used, of course. From here on, it's just a matter of taking the I'll take the brake cleaner, and what I'm going to use is I'm just going to use the 3M brake cleaner. I'll put that on, and then I'll clean up the rest before I take it completely apart. Well, after you clean it up, if you feel like it's not necessary to take the whole thing apart, you just want to go ahead and clean some of the stuff and also put some grease in there. I'm using this brake system grease, and it's got a variety of temperatures as well. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean it up with my steel brush and everything else in between here, and then if you don't want to take the whole thing apart, you can actually hold it away slightly and use a cotton stick with a little bit on. Make sure you don't get anything on the shoes itself, because it's going to destroy your brakes, and it's very, very sensitive. And then once you have got that all moving up again and it's ready to go out and off-road and water, then you're ready to assemble it all. Now, when you adjust your brake shoes afterwards, it's imperative that you get everything put in together. Put the disc on here as well. Then you adjust it on the adjuster, which is on the bottom part on this side of the car. And you adjust it out so you can feel that it's going to hit the side of the brakes. Once that's done, you release, you take the disc off again, and once the disc is coming off, then you have to release that adjuster in the release rotation by exactly 1 rotation. So make sure you mark that tooth that is going to be released, and then it's going to be working absolutely perfect afterwards. I'll show you in a second how it's done. That's done as well. Here we go. Now it's actually clean as I want it. Basically, I'm not going to do much more to it, maybe a little bit on the outside, but I'm going to go into the adjustment process, and that means I've just cleaned this one here as well, all the way on the inside. Make sure you don't touch the brake on the outside itself, or the disc itself. Now I'm going to install it on here, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust the shoes to the inside of the brake here as well, or in the inside of the discs in here as well. So stay tuned. So here we go. It's the little bit of a picture from the outside, and as you can see down here, that's the adjuster. You can see down here, and that's actually pushing the shoes aside as the brake module is trying to calibrate and so forth. So make sure this is the one that's pushed all the way together. When you turn this like out, then it's going to go ahead and push these two ends apart from each other, and then it's going to adjust to the disc itself on the inside. So here it's actually put all the way together now, so I cannot get it smaller than this right now. And then I'm going to put the disc on top of this, and I'm going to adjust it slightly out so I can feel, just so it feels like you can hear it's touching the disc. Once it's actually touching on the inside, I'm going to take it off again, and then I'm going to go 1 release round all the way around, and that's going to be the initial part for the calibration for the module later on. I just put it on. It's still not adjusted correctly, so I'll take it off a little bit. I'll give it a slightly more apart. Let's see how that works. Has to get back on again. Still not adjusted correctly. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit more. Now it's about 2 millimeters out, so I'm getting to the max probably. Okay. Try that one. And you just keep going until you get that, and then you should be fine. we go. Can still be adjusted slightly. One more try, and we'll try one more time, and that's how you do it. Now I'm actually close. I can hear it's just about touching, so I'll give it another one just to see how it works. So now it's adjusted all the way out where I cannot get it all the way in, so now I got a little bit too much, and I'll have to go ahead and take it off again and then rewind it so I know exactly where it's at, and then we go one turn in the release direction. Let's do that. About there, and let's see how that works. I have to specify too, it's worth it for you to spend some time on this because they are very sensitive and it fits really well because it's supposed to run in off-road conditions too. Here we go. From here on, just here it's touching. I'm gonna go ahead and take it one round off to release it. That's it. So, in order to do that, I'm gonna mark that tooth right there with some black paint. You can use nail polish, whatever you feel like, and that has to be there after you release it for one turn, all the way around. I don't know if you can see it now, but I've just turned this one complete turn, so it actually retracts again, and that's going to be the measuring point or the starting point for the calibration of the electronic parking brake whenever we get done with it. So we're lucky, it should actually fit completely on here easily now. It does. It cannot fit better than that. It's silent, everything works. So from here on, it's just a matter of putting everything back in together again, and it's going to be the same thing on the other side. So let's assemble the whole thing again, starting with the torque, put in the adjuster as well, and then we'll put the wheel on the caliper and everything else. A little bit more of a tech tip of the week, that little cover to go ahead and adjust it. This actually adjusts, everything comes around. It falls out very, very easily. If you give it a little bit of the grease just on the outside, it will actually hold the water out as well. It'll let your parking brake work for a lot longer. So now everything's done in reverse order. I just need to go ahead and tighten the caliper, and basically that's the end of the first round. Then we have the same thing to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to spare you for that, but that's basically what's going to happen. The caliper is now torqued to specs. It's rolling, and last check, works beautiful. Now the wheel goes back on, and we'll lower it and then start on the other sides, and then I'll show you in a second how you calibrate the rear parking brake module as well. So this is how you fix the left rear parking brake with a wet thread, a hammer, and a smile on your lips. Next side. So here we're working on the right side in the back, and we're gonna start taking the wheel off first, and that's basically where we're gonna initialize the whole thing. So I'll see how it looks whenever that gets all taken care of. Same thing on this side, wheel off underneath the car as a safety precaution. So here the wheel is put underneath, and I'm going to use a little bit of plastic here to take all the debris that's going to come off whenever I go ahead and start cleaning the brake system. It's going to help you to get it neat and tidy afterwards as well. So it's a good idea to get yourself organized with that as well. Now we're ready to take out the torque, take the caliper off, and then we'll go ahead and try to bring it out. We'll see how that works. Now on this side you got to watch out, because this brake caliper in the right rear, you'll have a brake sensor as well, so make sure you don't destroy that one when you take it off. I always go ahead and kink it a little bit like this, because that way it will come off easier. Once you have it off, get your brake hook installed and bring it over. There's a little hole over here, you can put it in and it will hang nice and dandy right there, and now you can start your work. Very simple. So the torque coming off now, and we'll go ahead and take that nice and dandy off as well. So here we'll take the torque off. That's it. And then let's have a look at how this thing's actually working. There we are. It's not as dirty as the other side. This one here is actually a lot cleaner for some reason. It has had a little bit of water. I can see that in here as well, because it got a bit of rusty conditions there, so it has been in water. And here you can see the adjuster's up here, and it's all the way in, so that's probably never been calibrated. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right away and clean up the whole thing like we did on the other side, and then we'll reassemble the whole thing, and then we'll go ahead and calibrate the brake module on the inside of the car. So stay tuned. So I just cleaned this up as well. It's got plenty of brake pad on there on the shoe itself. So this is all now completely together, and what I couldn't show you on the other one was this is the teeth that you can actually adjust. So by turning it, you can either extract or actually push them aside, or you can go ahead and contract them instead. So with a little bit of a screwdriver, you just turn these nice and dandy around. You can also access them through this little peephole there as well, but I'm going to go the other way around. So right now I'm going to start the process, putting on the disc again, adjusting up just so they touch, and then go mark the tooth, go with one reverse pattern all the way in so it gets less, and then I'll assemble the whole wheel again. Maybe there's a bit of camera angle so you can see how it works. You put it on there and it comes nice and dandy up, and now it pushes this part that way. So by turning this, that's the adjuster itself. You just push it out so it just touches, and then you got to go one turn all the way back again once you're done. So I just put it on the first time, and as you can see, it's not enough yet, so we'll take that off again, and then we'll adjust a little bit more here. I'll go 5 teeth at a time, something like that. We'll try one more time and see what happens. There we are. Still not enough, so we need some more. 3, 4, 5. It's almost there right now, but just for verification purposes, I'm actually going to try 2 more teeth and see what happens. 1, 2. Like I said, it is sensitive, so give yourself take a few more. 3, 4. Let's try it again. In there. 5. Just give yourself the time you need in this one. And you just keep going like this until it actually touches, and then you go 1 reverse round all the way back, and then you're done. See, now I got it over adjusted on 5, so I'm going to bring it back 3. So 1, 2, 3. And I can hear it's on. So from here I'll go one complete turn back again, and then this thing should be adjusted as well. So make sure you take a nail polish, or I use a Hardy kind of marker here. I'm going to take the top one and I'm going to mark that completely black, and then it's going to go one round all the way around, like so. That's too much, so we'll go one back right there. And now this should be fitting completely as supposed to be, and now we just have to go ahead and assemble the whole thing again and go in and adjust the parking brake. So from here on it's reverse order, everything torqued up to specs, of course. Put your disc back on, put the knots in as well, make sure you torque up the wheels correctly as well, and then we're ready to go for the electronic parking brake adjustment and calibration on the inside. So we'll do that next. Just putting the final touch on, last part, brake caliper, and we're ready to rock and roll. So there is a bulletin out how you adjust this stuff as well, and we're now back into the Land Rover and we're just about putting on. In general, it actually you have to tell the car that you have to calibrate the parking brake and the parking brake module, and how to do that is to turn your ignition key to the second notch where the ignition comes on. Then you engage your parking brake by pulling it. Sorry, you don't do that. You pump your brake pedal 3 times hard first. Once you come to the third pump, you keep your foot down with pressure on it, and then you set the parking brake for 4 times. So you pull up 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you release it 3 times, and then it starts the process. I'll repeat it in a second, but it's kind of important you do that within 10 seconds, otherwise the cycle will not complete. So in general, 2 clicks on the key, pump your brake pedal 3 times. On the third step, keep it under pressure, and then you engage your parking brake 4 times. Then you disengage the parking brake 3 times within 10 seconds, and you just let it go. You'll see in the mode panel up on your with your speedometer or odometer that you're actually in a parking brake adjustment mode as well. So here we go. So 1, 2, it's in assist in progress. I have the tailgate open at the moment, as you can see. From here I pump the brake pedal 3 times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 times, and keep the pressure. Now I set the parking brake 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then it goes into a calibration mode. There we are. We'll try it again. So 1, 2, 3. Pressure's on. Parking brake bedding cycle active. Try one more time. 3. And one more time. There we go. It should now be calibrated, so we'll try it out. So now we just start the car up. We're out for a test drive, and it's in park. We'll go ahead and put it in drive. Here we go. I'm just letting it roll here in below 20, they say, but I'm just gonna let it roll in idle basically. And then you pull the parking brake and hold it, and it says caution parking brake applied, and it will stop. Parking brake is now set. In order to release it, you do it normal. Press the brake and release it, and it goes again. Do it 3 times, and it's actually calibrating. There we are. Perfect. And release it again. Do it one more time. and you can repeat it up to 10 times. There we go. I've done a few already, but that's how you do it. And basically, now, last time, it works beautiful. There we go. And then when I come to a full stop, I'll set the car in park. Then I'll apply the parking brake. Absolutely with no sounds whatsoever. It's just working beautiful. I'll disengage the parking brake. Here we go. And that's concluding the service on the parking brake module. Just out doing the final test drive of the Land Rover, and it seems everything's working absolutely beautiful as I wanted it to. So it's ready to go out in the swamp with it tomorrow. We're gonna go out and go bow hunting a little bit and go some off-roading as well. So let's see how that works. But right now it's absolutely tip-top. So that's gonna be fun. I hope you enjoyed the video demonstration of how to adjust the parking brake on a Land Rover LR3 or Discovery 3 as well. It will work the same. I'll include the bulletin that's out with regards to this adjustment and so forth in. I'll actually put it up on the screen here in a second, and then I'll also put in a link below as well in the description. So while you're trying to figure this out, you might as well go ahead and like and subscribe, and then I'll come back with a video within the next week or so. So I'll see you and catch you very soon. Have a great week.